Hey, in today's video, I want to talk about the big idea and the unique mechanism, and really just how you can use these ideas to position your product, your service, or your client's product or service in a completely new way that really stands out from the competitors. Now, the big idea is this concept, the big idea and the unique mechanism are really just these two ideas that were, I'm not sure exactly where they came from. The big idea has been talked about by David Ogilvy, Eugene Schwartz, and Breakthrough Advertising. These concepts are really things that can make a huge difference. They can be the game changer in your marketing. And I want to kind of start with the big idea because this idea is really hard to grasp, and I've heard it described a ton of different ways by a ton of different people. If you're not aware of who Todd Brown is, Todd Brown talks about this idea all the time. It's really kind of his go-to thing. It's what makes Todd Brown Todd Brown. It's what he talks about and what he tries to convey to his audience all the time in everything he does. And really, the way that the big idea is described is that it is this idea. It's this big idea that your entire marketing campaign is predicated on. And it's so let me use an example. So within the weight loss industry, it's very saturated. And there's a lot of products, there's a lot of different ways that you can go about losing weight, whether it's Atkins, keto, low carb, all these different ways you can do it, right? And everyone claims to have the answer. But how do you go into that market and actually stand out? Now, what the big idea says is the big idea usually is this unique, interesting, compelling idea that usually what it does is it shows why you haven't gotten a solution yet. And here's why. And my product solves that. For instance, P90X. So P90X is a product, it's a weight loss product by Beachbody, who P90X is like one of the most successful weight loss programs like of all time. And essentially what this product did is it said the reason that you're not losing weight, the reason you can't build muscle or lose weight is because you are hitting plateaus, because you're doing the same things and the same weights over and over, and you're not shocking your body into growth or into losing weight. And the only way that you can do that is you have to confuse your muscles, right? You have to do different exercises and you have to confuse and really, it's a goofy concept because you can't really confuse your muscles, but they coined this unique mechanism. So the unique mechanism is it's the device. It's the device that gets the results. The unique mechanism of P90X is muscle confusion. So muscle confusion is the actual like unique named kind of like intellectual property that gets you the result of weight loss. The big idea is that you can't lose weight is because you're hitting plateaus and you need to confuse your muscles, right? So this is kind of a, excuse me, this is it's easy to understand like once you hear it, right? But the big idea is really hard to come up with. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. I'm going to give you a couple of things that you can do. And here's three things, and two of them are kind of the same. But here's a couple things you can do, and I have some notes. I'm going to look over here. But use an analogy to describe your big idea, such as an idea for a marketing agency being a bridge between a customer and their business. So a cool way to think about, let's say you're a marketing agency and your service is supplying, let's say, Google ads, so PPC for your marketing customers. So say you're working with a dentist, right? So you can describe your service to the dentist as a bridge, right? So a good hook would be, what does this bridge have to do with getting you more dental patients, right? And that's kind of like a curious hook, and you're like, well, what? What does that mean? But it's cool because the analogy of the bridge is a great way to uniquely position your service, right? So that's one way. Another way is a contrarian idea. So P90X kind of not so much took this. It's not so much a contrarian idea, but a good contrarian idea would be keto, for instance. So if you had a keto product, and keto is kind of saturated at this point, people kind of know what keto is, but the idea of eating more fats to lose fat is kind of contrarian, right? Because most people think you have to eat less fat to lose weight. To lose fat, you eat less fat. So to come into a market that's maybe not as sophisticated, that's not as aware now that keto's kind of saturated, right? The sophistication level of the market, and that's a whole another video I can make about sophistication levels, is a lot of people know what keto is, right? And they kind of understand what it is. It's low carb, high fat, right? And that's a contrarian idea, right? Because most people think that fat makes you fat. But if you come into the market with a hook of, why eating more fat actually makes you lose fat, or how eating tons of fat can actually melt fat off your body, something like that, right? It's a contrarian idea. So it's a great hook, it's a great big idea, and then you can describe a unique mechanism, which would be your vehicle, which would be this thing, which maybe is like your high fat protocol diet or something like that. That's your unique mechanism that delivers the result of weight loss. And then one more is a metaphor, and this is just like comparing like a real object or something is like something, right? So a really cool metaphor that I saw was in actually an Agora letter. It was an Agora. They're huge, direct response financial publishing company. Look them up. They're huge if you haven't heard of them. But there was a letter that they had back in the day, which was talking about, I think it was fiber optic cables being a. So the headline, let me just back up. The headline was something like, the new railroad across America is making tons of people rich, something like that. So this idea of like a new railroad was this unique thing that was kind of ambiguous, and you were like, well, what's this new railroad? So the cool part was the railroad was describing fiber optic cables being across the U.S., right? So it's like a cable underground or a cable across the United States that was getting things across the country, right? Which was information. But it's a unique way to kind of compare, personify this object, fiber optic cables, to something else, i.e., a railroad. So if you can compare your product or service to a thing that people can easily imagine, it's a cool way to kind of spin a new, unique idea into a big idea. So I want to make more videos about this because I think it's a great topic to really understand, because if you can really nail the big idea and having a great unique mechanism, you can really make great marketing and you can stand out in super crowded markets, right? It's why people can really have great ideas that convey you to take action. I'm sure that you've tried to lose weight before, right? Let's say, or gain muscle, and maybe you got some success, but maybe you slowed down or you plateaued. Someone can come into the market and convince you, have a very strong sales argument as to why you weren't able to reach that before, right? They can have a great headline, a great hook that pulls you in and convinces you with a lead and a sales argument, and they convince you that you haven't gotten the result because of XYZ. And if you don't solve this, XYZ will happen. But don't worry, because it's not your fault. Here's what's actually happening, and here's what you need to do, and here's what my product can do for you. Blah, 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 blah. And boom. And if it's a strong, really strong, ironclad argument, they can convince you. They can give you hope, because that's really what marketing is, right? You're conveying hope. You're delivering hope to the reader so that they buy your product and get the result that you're promising. Because that's, I mean, you have to have ethics here, right? You can't just lie to people, but you have to have a great product or service and convince people as to why something hasn't worked for them before. Show them something unique, something they haven't thought of before. Make a great argument for it, introduce a unique mechanism, and sell them. And so that's all. So again, use an analogy, use a contrarian idea, use a metaphor. Really just come up with something unique, something the market has never heard of, and you will have great success. That's all I wanted to talk about today. I hope that was helpful. If you'd like me to make more videos about this, go deeper, maybe talk about the sophistication levels or the awareness levels of the market and how you can address the different levels of awareness of your markets, and how you can kind of hit different segments of the audiences and have great hooks, headlines, leads, ads, really everything to hit every section of the market, and how you really convey those ideas and messages in your ads to bring in the right prospects. So let me know below what videos you'd like to see. I'm making a comeback to YouTube. It's been about 2 years since I've made a video, which is ridiculous, but I've really been putting my head down, doing a lot of studying on copywriting, Facebook ads. I've gotten really good at writing compliant Facebook ads over the past year, year and a half. And that's huge, especially now since so many ad accounts are getting disabled, so many accounts are getting banned. I was actually improperly banned for about 3 weeks recently. Got my account back, which is it's scary. It's scary stuff. And you have to make sure that you're making your ads compliant because Facebook will drop the ban hammer and will screw you. So I will make some videos about Facebook ad compliance and how to write your ads Facebook friendly. So get ready for those. They're coming. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, let me know, like the video, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.